Hello, and welcome to another exciting edition of Best MTG Decks Ever. I'm your host, Joe, and today I'm going to be talking about my top choice picks for Commander cards in Innistrad Midnight Hunt. So let's just start talking about the cards that I see in there that are going to be great for Commander. The first one is the Meathook Massacre. This is colorless X, 2 black mana, legendary enchantment. When the Meathook Massacre enters the battlefield, each creature gets -X until end of turn. And its persistent effects are, whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you gain 1 life. This is going to be great for a multitude of life gain decks. This card's just bonkers, really. It's a board wipe combined with an enchantment. I don't know if there's anything else like this, but it's just amazing, and the art on it is amazing. I can't wait to own this card. The next card that I'm really excited for is Lord of the Forsaken. This is 4 colorless, 2 black, flying trample 6/6 demon. Now it has 2 effects on it that are going to make this card bonkers for commanders. It's got tap a black mana, sacrifice another creature, target player mills 3 cards. Then the second ability is pay 1 life, add a colorless mana, spend this mana only to cast a spell from your graveyard. The effects that you can get from this card are crazy. You can do all sorts of things, like you can have it in Muldrotha or Carador decks, get a ton of value out of this thing. You can be milling yourself, you can be doing infinite combos to mill your whole deck, infinite combos to gain mana by paying life and gaining life and pulling stuff from graveyards. You can go Rakdos Underworld Breach with Dockside Extortionist for flipping that guy in and out and just making a ton of tokens. The sky's the limit with this card. I love it a lot, and I cannot wait to use it. Next card is Lier, Disciple of the Drowned. 3 colorless, 2 blue. Spells can't be countered. Each instant and sorcery card in your graveyard has flashback. The flashback cost is equal to that card's mana cost. Now, the one weird thing about this is that since it's blue and spells can't be countered, it means that you're not going to be using this effect in order to counter spells with spells from your graveyard. So however this gets used, you're not going to be using counter spells. Maybe in some sort of mill-centric deck where like you're milling a bunch, and then there are some cards that mill everybody, including yourself, and then you can mill other cards that go to your graveyard. Or I mean, you can cast the mill cards that are in your graveyard to keep like the mill train going on. Could be interesting. I'm looking forward to that card. Next card is Fateful Absence. 1 colorless, 1 white, instant, destroy target creature or planeswalker. Its controller investigates. And investigate is when there's an artifact. It costs 2 colorless. You sack it, and you get to draw a card. So the downside is your opponent gets to draw a card. The upside is you can destroy target creature or planeswalker at instant speed for very little mana. This is a good card. The next one is bonkers. It's only an uncommon, and it doesn't look like a lot, but this is going to be a staple in black decks moving forward. It's Infernal Grasp. 1 colorless, 1 black, instant, destroy target creature, you lose 2 life. The drawback of this, losing 2 life, is nothing in Commander, and black removal oftentimes has limiting factors, like you can't, target artifact creatures, or you can't just target black creatures, or this spell won't destroy merfolk or werewolves or demons or angels or whatever. This one destroys whatever you need it to destroy. You only lose 2 life. It's instant. Doesn't take a lot of mana. This card is awesome. I'm going to be grabbing a few of these if I don't pull enough when I'm cracking packs, because this is going in almost all my black decks. Next up, we've got Spectral Adversary, 1 colorless, 1 blue, creature spirit, 2/1. It's flash flying. Now this thing's cool. When Spectral Adversary enters the battlefield, you may pay 1 colorless, 1 blue, any number of times. When you pay this cost 1 or more times, put that many +1/+1 counters on Spectral Adversary, then up to that many other target artifacts, creatures, and or enchantments phase out. So you can use this to protect your board from removal while simultaneously getting a body on the board. Depending on how much mana you have, like if you say someone's casting a board wipe or something like that, and you've got 3 targets, you've got 2 creatures and an artifact, all right, and you've got the mana. You tap 8 mana, you cast this, your 2 creatures and the artifact phase out, and they're protected, and I wonder, like, if this is flash, I think this would also die from the board wipe. So, but in some other cases, though, it wouldn't. I'll have to look that up. But either way, you get to protect some stuff and you get a body on the board. It's a really cool card. Next up is Outland Liberator. This is kind of like, I don't know. I think that this is going to be a sleeper card. The reason why is it's 1 colorless, 1 green. It is a body on the board. It's a 2/2. Its ability is 1 colorless, sacrifice Outland Liberator, destroy target artifact or enchantment. So you can slap it on the board. You can let it, like, if you have to destroy something right away, yeah, you're going to destroy artifact or enchantment for 3, which is kind of a downside. But if there's not anything, if there's not an immediate threat, you leave this on the board. It can sit there, which means that later on you can take out a threat for 1. It's going to be at instant speed. All right. You can also use it to block something else. So if the big body is coming in on to attack you, you declare blocker and then tap 1 colorless mana, and then you can destroy an artifact or enchantment. You've effectively stopped the attacking creature. Then there's another way to get even more value out of this. So say the deck that you're running is like, it has a lot of flash and instants. So, you cast this and it's out there. One of your turns goes by and you don't cast anything. You're going to leave your mana untapped so you can counter or do flash, whatever. If that happens, it's going to then turn into Frenzied Trapbreaker. Frenzied Trapbreaker gets this. Whenever Frenzied Trapbreaker attacks, destroy target artifact or enchantment defending player controls. So this has the potential to destroy multiple targets and enchantments on the board. And like the value that you could get out of this is pretty high. That's why I think it might be a sleeper card. I don't know about, how it's actually going to play out. I'm definitely going to test this one out. It's not going to be right in every deck, because if you have a deck where every single time it comes around, you want to tap everything, like tap all your mana and just like flood stuff out, there's no chance that you're going to be able to get that deeper value. But if your deck is able to pull it off, this card's going to be good, because it's like the potential of multiple artifact and enchantment destruction, blocker body, it's just, I think it might be a sleeper card. Next up is Unnatural Growth, 1 colorless, 4 green, enchantment. At the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. Self-explanatory, just make sure creature's really fat. And it happens during every combat, so it will work for attacking or blocking. Next card up is Augur of Autumn, 1 colorless, 2 green. It is a creature. It's a 2/3. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may play lands from the top of your library and then coven. As long as you control 3 or more creatures with different powers, you may cast creature spells from the top of your library. This is just a really powerful card. Lots of green decks have lots of creatures. You get this one out. You can filter lands from your library, which will make it to where you're getting more creatures in your hand. And then if you've got creatures on the board with 3 different powers, and this being one of them, it's going to have a power of 2. So if you do, a mana dork on turn 1, and then you put this out there, filter a land out, cast a creature, and then, you can start casting creatures from, that's a 3. You got a 1, 2, 3, boom, and you can start casting creatures from the top of your library. This is a pretty powerful card. Like it a lot. And then the last card that I see as being a real powerful commander card is Vanquish the Horde. Vanquish the Horde is a white card. It is 6 colorless, 2 white, sorcery. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each creature on the battlefield. Destroy all creatures. This is basically like a white version of Blasphemous Act. It's a little bit, I don't know. In some ways it's better, in some ways it's worse. So it's better because it just destroys all creature. If your opponent has a 14/14, Blasphemous Act isn't going to work on it. And then Vanquish the Horde also only has 6 colorless, meaning that if there are 6 creatures on the board, you're going to get to cast this for 2 white mana. Whereas with Blasphemous Act, you would have to have 7 to use 2 mana. Now, however, Blasphemous Act only takes 1 red, so there's more color restrictions on Vanquish of the Horde, but Vanquish of the Horde I see as being a staple in many white decks. It's going to be a board wipe for 2 white mana, leaving you more mana to do other stuff after the board wipe. Clear the board, cast something, and then you're in good position. So those are my picks for top commander cards in Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Hope you guys like the picks. Maybe I showed you something that you didn't see before. These are definitely cards that I'm going to want to have sitting in my collection so that I can throw them into decks. The card that I am most excited about is the Meathook Massacre. It just looks so cool. Like the art, the name, the effects. It's a board wipe. It's an enchantment that gains you life, takes life from opponents. Like, this thing is bonkers. I love it. I just hope I pull multiple of these cards from packs. So, anyway, hope you guys enjoy the video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm going to be doing more commander-oriented content because I've been really getting into Commander lately. I've been going and playing Commander games, and I'm just building tons of Commander decks. Arena is kind of sucking right now. I don't like how they instituted the that latest set where you can't buy packs. You have to do the pick one of 3 packets, and then you have to pick another, like the next one of 3 packets, and it makes this deck, and then I have to play games to get the rares, and it's just like, oh man, I don't want to do that. And then the only format that I really wanted to play in Arena was Historic, and the Historic shakeup thing is just a nightmare because all of the decks that I want to play are basically unplayable right now because the cards were banned from the Historic shakeup. I don't want to make decks in Historic with this shakeup limitation so that after the shakeup limitation is gone, those decks are going to be worthless. Like, the game is almost unplayable to me because all I want to do is crack packs from the new set, build decks that I want to play, and play them in Historic. And right now, I can't do that. So I've just been getting like super into Commander. It's, I don't know, man. It's just made Magic so fun. And yeah, I've made like, I don't know, 6 Commander decks in the last month. I'm pretty addicted to it. So, yep. More Commander content coming your way. Hope you guys have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.